couple of weeks ago, I was about to do some general maintenance on the Sportage. I was going to change out the spark plugs. I've known about this problem for quite some time, so long that I actually bought the part to fix it and then never got around to fixing it. I went to go take my spark plugs out of the Sportage, and I got the first one out. I took the very last, closest to the firewall, I think that's cylinder 4. Took the plug out, and as soon as I lifted the socket out of the hole, I could see a problem like I've never seen before. It was about 2.5 inches deep of oil measured on the socket and extension. Never seen that before, and I knew immediately what it was. Sometime in the mid-20 teens, I bought a valve cover gasket, and it sat in my shed and sat in my shed. Because I can build a badass rock crawling suspension. I can change out diff gears. I can do general maintenance. I can build a roll cage, which I've done. I can do custom I built a roof rack on this thing. I can do all kinds of stuff. Deep engine and transmission stuff is not really in my wheelhouse. So today, my job today is doing the valve cover gasket. Now, I took all the plugs out, and as soon as I took those plugs out, of course, all that oil drains down into the cylinders. I'm hoping that it just kind of, over the last couple of weeks when I haven't done anything to it, I'm hoping that that oil has drained past the rings. A few things I found online is that a lot of people think it's the front and rear main seals when it's really the valve cover gasket. And so, because they're not watching it drain down the back side of the engine. And so I'm hoping, and that is what I thought. So I'm really hoping that once I get the valve cover gasket done, I no longer have an oil leak. So let's test that oil depth, if this will fit down in there, and it does. Ah, look at that, totally bone dry. So that makes me happy that the oil has leaked past the cylinders, or the, cylinders. Let me see back here. Okay. So far I'm very happy. Nope. And nope. Also, the hose that goes from the back of this valve cover up to the side of the intake here was super cracked, so I thought I could just trim it and jam it back on there with the hose clamps, but I noticed there was a restrictor on the inside of it, which I did not know previously. And so anyway, that restrictor caused me to have to hunt one down and buy a new one. So I did that. It was around $50. It was not fun paying for that, but I did it. It's over, and I have a new one. Okay, that I'm gonna have to remember how to put back together. That can go over here somewhere. Where can I? I'm gonna have to tie this up out of the way somewhere. Can't really, oh, there we go. Can I jam it down there? I hate sticking things where they shouldn't necessarily go, because then you might damage some old rubber or something. I gotta figure something else out too here. These need to be separated. Oh, I can put them back in the valve cover. That's what I'll do. This is a little bolt back here that I don't know what it goes to. Maybe to that? Yeah, probably. All right, so I'll put these back in here. Now I got something like 13 bolts, I think it is, around the valve cover that I got to get out. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to pick this up and out of the way also. Get these leaves out of here so they don't fall in. Got this bad problem with this oak tree above me where all the leaves tend to want to fall in there. Also, I got this PCV valve hose. Get a little wrench to pull that off. There we go. No! I just broke the PCV valve off. Shit. Okay, well, I should have done it this way. All this stuff is super old and I just broke that, and that sucks. Because now I have to replace that piece too. When I should have just done that. Just broke that off. Oh, that one was kind of loose back there. That could have been part of the problem. All right. Okay. Come on, there we go. All right. That should be all the bolts. Now, I do need to mention it probably should have another bolt straight back behind here, because that's where most of the leaks occur, is in the farthest rear cylinder. But it doesn't have that, so bad on Kia for that. Okay, let's try this. There it comes. Okay. What is... It's catching on these hoses, stiff-ass rubber hoses from a million years ago over here. Okay, come on. What are we sticking on? What are we sticking on? Something else over here. Ah, there we go. Okay. So the actual gasket looks good. Oh, there's still oil here in these chambers between the spark plugs. That's pretty bad. I'm not going to get this done today. This is like a 2-day job, I think. Wow. So the gasket, yeah, it doesn't look bad at all. But it does look like it's kind of squished down to the point where it's not going to fill the space anymore. All right, I wanted to show you the oil that's down in there. In those little trays. All right, now we're gonna take this old valve cover gasket out of here and put one glove on so I don't get so greasy. All right, it's not that bad. Comes out pretty easily, it looks like. This is a little stiff. All right, so one other thing I wanted to do before I wipe this all down is to soak up the oil in those little reservoirs in here between the spark plugs, because I think, yeah, it's not that deep. So now I'm just doing a dry wipe on the mating surface here. And I don't know if this rubber gasket comes with a new PCV valve, so I don't know if I'm doing the right thing here. This might be a bad idea. So I've decided, oh shit, that's no good. I'll get that later. Hopefully I'll remember to get that later. Anyway, I'm gonna take this little plate off in here so I can see what the other end of the PCV valve looks like. It might be on there with like a nut, plastic nut probably, and that's why that rubber grommet is not coming out. But I gotta see what it looks like. Ooh, it's on there. Don't lose those screws. Shit, I dropped 2 of them. That's not good. No, yeah, 2 of them. Always keep needle nose next to you. Get these little guys out of there. I have super skinny long ones too. Okay, so the other end is some other kind of a rubber gasket thing. So I don't put these into the motor. I'm gonna try and keep this out of the way. So let's see what we can do here about getting this out of here. I don't know what is under this gunk. All right, well, while I'm working on this, I'm gonna stop you for a bit. Well, the PCV valve mount disintegrated entirely, so I still don't even know how it goes in there. So I'm gonna have to order one or buy one to figure it out. Probably could use a little grease or something to slick it up and jam it in there a little bit easier, but this is what I'm doing. I think supposed to go a little further than that. I'm not sure. That comes right out, but that's like as far as it'll go. Maybe this isn't the right grommet. Maybe they used a different grommet for this. Oh man. Luckily I bought the multi-set, so I have more than one grommet in here. That's way too small, too short. This one, however, is very similar and has a rubber piece that looks like it goes over this, which is probably the correct one. Damn it. But it doesn't have the correct back end taper, really, from what I can see. All right, so the back end taper, oh, it is big. Okay, I gotta get this one back out. It's probably supposed to be this one. Damn it. I thought I had the right one. Yeah, it's a little easier too to get in there. Okay, good. All right, now jam this sucker in. Let's move it to the middle so I don't spill all this stuff again. Oh man, that is tough. Is it not gonna fit now? Did it really need the other one? Eesh. Ah, there it goes.